Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Friday, May 21st, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is Tim fucking Gettys.
I know it's not the out today section of the show yet, but I just want to start it off saying out today is Olivia Rodrigo's album Sour, and I haven't listened to it yet, but I can't wait to get off this show and to inject it into my eardrums, my ear holes. Blessing.
I've been listening to it literally all morning.
Yeah,
and let me tell you, Olivia Rodrigo, she has a future ahead of her. She's gonna make it out the hood with this one. Like, this one is hitting different. Like literally from the get go, from track one. Track one, I believe, is brutal. Yep. And let me tell you, that thing knocks from the get go. Dude, it is an album.
She is a sad girl, but I hope that in reality she's happy because she deserves happiness more than anyone I've ever met.
Oh my god.
Blessing.
Oh my god.
We must protect her. Yeah, she deserves the world.
But yeah, shout out like driver's license going into 1 step forward, 3 steps back. Ooh, going into deja vu, then good for you, bro.
Oh my god.
What a sequence of songs, Blessing. What a
like this the album sequencing is also excellent. That's not something I shout out as much on pop albums. Like I don't really care about sequencing that much. Yeah. But she destroyed, or I should say they, because I know it's a whole team, but they destroyed the sequencing, and she destroyed the singing. Like they fucking killed it.
What a great album! I said before the recording that it's giving me my Lord fix, but also like Good for You is giving me that like Avril Lavigne fucking feel as well.
And No Doubty a little bit,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it's so good.
I like over the years, I've always seen Greg talk about how much he loves Taylor Swift, and that's always been a thing that's struck me as interesting because Greg Miller doesn't strike me as like, at first blush, a Taylor Swift fan, right? Like this guy, late 30s, listening to Taylor. And I've always been like, you know what, man? People have their taste. People love what they love. But man, listening to this Olivia Rodrigo album, I get it now because the whole first song is about how tough it is being 17. And listening to it, I'm like, yo, she's saying some shit right now.
She's saying
like,
I'm like, I have a driver's license. You know,
I have a driver's license. I can relate to this. Oh my god, everybody go listen to the Olivia Rodrigo album. It's incredible. Also watch High School Musical, the musical, the series. It's on right now, Disney Plus. Episode 2 just dropped yesterday. But Tim, that's not what this show is about. This show is about video games and video game news. So let's talk about, as I accidentally opened Photoshop and it does the thing where it opens for like 5 minutes straight and I can't get it off the stream. Let's talk about Netflix getting into video games, Overwatch changing the game, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. To be part of the show, to patreon.com/Kinda Funny Games, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. Housekeeping for you. Remember, today we're streaming for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund at 11 a.m. Pacific time right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. You can start donating and learning about the charity right now on kindoffunny.com/Palestine. And let me tell you, we opened up the link at the beginning of the week, and you guys have been smashing the goals left and right. Our previous goal was $25,000, and you guys have already smashed past that, which has been incredible to see.
Really?
Yeah.
We're
past
almost
that.
at 26,000. At the beginning of the week, like Greg has been saying, like when we opened it up on Monday, the goal was $5,000, and it was one of those things of like we might get a little bit of that throughout the week, and then like really push for it on Friday, and like hopefully make it and stuff like that. The fact that the best friends have shown up so strongly, and that we keep like making new benchmarks, and the best friends keep hitting them is just fills all of our hearts.
Yeah, it's truly incredible. Like every now and then I get a strong reminder. I get a strong reminder about how awesome it is that we have the Kind of Funny community. And this has been another one of those ones where it's like, damn, this is incredible. You guys totally showed up.
With that, right now we are at $25,816. By the end of Kind of Funny Games Daily, I want us to be at that 26K. Shouldn't be hard.
Just a
couple hundred away. Kindoffunny.com/Palestine.
Yeah. Thank you, best friends. Also, thank you to our Patreon producers, Blackjack and Tom Bach. Today, we're brought to you by Caviar and Credit Karma, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Oh my God. Oh
It's
my
so
God.
funny when it sounds like he gets sucked out of a spaceship and
Yeah.
then sucked back in.
The kids
That
don't
was
hear
incredible.
That's just Discord on your guys.
That's only us. That's Bear breaking the
Aw,
Discord
damn.
barrier. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Story number 1, Netflix really wants to get into video games. I'm pulling from Nicole Carpenter at Polygon. Netflix is reportedly searching for an executive to head up an expansion into video games, according to a report published Friday by The Information. The report suggests Netflix has that sounds like a almost like a secret organization right there. The Information. The report suggests Netflix has approached multiple veteran game industry executives regarding the position, which would expand its efforts into video games. The Information reported that Netflix is considering a bundle of games available via a subscription, like Apple Arcade. The Apple Bundle launched in 2019 with a number of exclusives and timed exclusive games available for $4.99 a month. Apple has continued to support the platform by adding new games at a pretty consistent pace. A Netflix spokesperson told Polygon the company is, quote, excited to do more with interactive entertainment, end quote. Quote, our members value the variety and quality of our content. It's why we've continually expanded our offering from series to documentaries, film, local language originals, and reality TV. Members also enjoy engaging more directly with stories they love. Through interactive shows like Bandersnatch and UV Wild, U versus Wild, or games based on Stranger Things, La Casa de Papel, and To All the Boys We Love, To All the Boys. I see. We're excited to do more with interactive entertainment. End quote. Tim, before we even get into this, To All the Boys, does To All the Boys have a interactive thing? Do they have a video game?
No. They're saying that like with this they could. Like they're saying all the properties they have the rights to.
Gotcha.
There could be dope games based on them. And I can imagine a game based on To All the Boys I Left Before being interesting.
Yeah, no, that could be. I mean, we got the Stranger Things game, and that was definitely a game that came out. Stranger Things 3.
Yeah.
Where you at with this whole thing? Like, do you think how do you think Netflix takes this?
I don't think they take it anywhere. I think that this is one of those things that is a news story today, but probably won't be talked about in the future. You know, Netflix has kind of dipped its toes into the waters of video games before. I remember at the last E3, the last in-person E3, which must have been 2019, during the Jeff Keighley show, Netflix was there in a big way. There was a whole bunch of different conversations with them talking about their games and stuff, and that included the Stranger Things 3 game. But jumping ahead to this, I think that this is a money move. Clearly, it's just them trying to diversify their revenue streams and all that, trying to figure out where else they can kind of like drain some money out of people. And you know, these subscription services are kind of not the way of the future; they're the way of the now. It's happening, and the game space is kind of trying to develop that and figure out what it looks like with things like Game Pass and Apple Arcade and whatever it could look like on Netflix. I imagine would be part of the Netflix subscription, not an additional subscription, just to kind of add value to what they have, because they need to compete with the likes of Disney Plus and HBO Max, just kind of gobbling things up and getting more and more powerful in the streaming space. But I think that this news is kind of like, whatever. Nothing really good's going to come from it, with the exception of more things potentially like Bandersnatch. I think interactive TV shows is probably a wiser course for Netflix to go down than video games themselves, or video games based on their properties.
Yeah, I think there's potential there in terms of what you can do with it. I don't necessarily want to see Netflix try to produce video games. You know, that's not like I feel like when the times we've seen big tech companies try to infiltrate the video game space and not understand it fully. You see things like Google Stadia happen, or you see things like what was the Amazon multiplayer game that came out and then didn't come out the next week? Like, they took it back. You know,
Yeah.
you see big companies think that because they have the position they do in the space, they can come through and easily make it happen, and then realize that, oh wait, no, this is way more work than it actually seems, right? Like putting out for Google Stadia, putting out first party games is way more work than we would have expected. I don't think we're gonna see that come out in Netflix. I think what you could see is maybe them do more licensing stuff. I think this presents the opportunity of, all right, what if you saw Netflix do what Marvel Games is doing, or what we've seen, like what Star Wars is doing, right? Like hit up the Division team to work on a new game. What if Netflix did that with their properties, especially since they've kind of dipped their toes into that a little bit with the Stranger Things game? I wonder if that is a route. And I
Totally.
wonder if that route would work for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the right place for them to start at the very least, because they do have valuable IP. They do have a lot of IP that could translate very well to video games if handed to the right team. So, yeah, I think a more modern Star Wars like approach would be very wise of them. But I also can see this just kind of turning into just a playlist or whatever, like a row on Netflix that's just kind of interactive whatever, not
experiences.
Exactly, which is kind of cool. I don't know what the Meet or UV Wild is. Do you know?
No, I thought that was like a Man versus Wild like spinoff or some shit. That's what it sounds like, but I'm not positive. Kind of funny.com/you wrong if you have any clarification on UV Wild. Bandersnatch was one.
The chat's already saying it is.
UV Wild is a 2019 interactive American adventure reality TV series. It revolves around making key decisions to help Bear Grylls navigate in harsh, scary environments.
Hell yeah.
Interesting.
Hell yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Bandersnatch was one that I tried and I thought should have been better than it was. You know, like for it being one Black Mirror, but then also it being this, you know, interactive choose your own adventure thing. I was hoping that would be way better than it was. And by the time I finished it, I was like, all right, that was whatever. I would like to see that stuff work because I think there's something there. Like there's a reason why you've seen both me and Greg jump into like the random FMV games that drop on PlayStation. Like I played The Complex, I played Erica back when that came out. I forget the name of the one that Greg tried out that he talked about on PS I Love You. But like I think there's something there and something special that you can tap into that can be really good for the experience of it, like the gimmick of it. Cool, yeah, let's choose our own adventure for a dumb story, or like let's have a horror experience that really speaks to the idea of, yeah, like this is a cinematic thing, but it doesn't have to be a full gameplay experience, but also doesn't have to be like a fucking cinematic masterpiece. Like let's put out something that's fun to do that gives that satisfaction of being involved in the horror, being involved in the story. I think there's a lot of potential for that, but I think it also involves like just treating those things the right way and giving them the TLC that they need in order to be fun experiences.
Absolutely. You know, a couple months back, a documentary about Nickelodeon came out. The Orange Years is what it was called, about the rise of Nickelodeon in the 80s and into the 90s. And something I thought was really interesting was them talking about Nick Jr. and how the advent of that was really like a bigger boon than you would have expected. Because like we credit obviously the Nicktoons and Rugrats and all that stuff, but it's like Nick Jr. was just as important because it was speaking to an even younger audience that was always at home, always able to watch TV. And the big thing there was Blue's Clues, changing the game where it was keeping these little kids' attention because it was interactive. They would do the thing of like they would wait and have the kid point like, "Where's Blue?" And it's up there, whatever. And then that obviously kind of later turned into Dora the Explorer, and Diego and all that stuff. And what is that for adults? You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's something that we haven't really cracked yet. But once that's figured out, something that is able to be watched and enjoyed by adults, but you know, still feels like it's stimulating them and that they're actually a part and making the decisions in the same way these kids feel like they're helping Blue find these clues. You know what I mean? That could be really interesting. But yeah, so far Bandersnatch wasn't really it. Even on the video game side, they haven't really nailed it, like with Erica and things like that.
Well, we've had like things like, you know, Until Dawn, which is way more of a game experience than something like Erica, which is literally live action. You know, we've had hints of that and hints of genius with that, with something like Until Dawn. And like even the Quantic Dream games, right, that people can are like on either side of in terms of loving it or absolutely hating them. But like Detroit Become Human is another example of like, yeah, there's something there, right? People like the butterfly effect thing. People, I think, a lot of people are appreciative of what those games go for. Like, there's a way to marry those experiences in terms of the cinematic with the choose your own thing or the interactive that I think can work, and that I think if Netflix can tap into the right way, can really be great for them. But one, that's gonna be a challenge, and two, that's like I don't even know if they'll get that far with it being Netflix and it being like a thing of like, all right, how much do they really want to put into actually going hard and actually putting in the work that they need to make that work. I mean,
they're gonna have to do something because Netflix is losing the market share, and it's gonna take time. They're in a fantastic place. They have more subscriptions than anyone else right now. But will that be true in a couple of years if they don't find and identify kind of different verticals for them to add to their portfolio to be able to stack up and compete? Because at some point, it's like they will be the last place for just truly original content, but how much that's going to be made when you're competing with literally fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Tim, speaking of big changes, story number 2, Overwatch 2 is changing to a 5v5 game. This is from Michael McWhorter at Polygon. Big changes are coming for Overwatch 2, starting with a substantial alteration to the hero shooter's player versus player mode. For Overwatch 2, Blizzard will switch PvP from 2 teams of 6, the current player count in Overwatch, to 2 teams of 5. That's right, the game that's been a 6v6 battle for the past 5 years will change to 5v5. Overwatch game director Aaron Keller announced the change during a live stream on Thursday. Keller said that the new team composition of Overwatch 2 will consist of 2 damage heroes, 2 support heroes, and 1 tank. Keller explained that tanks can be problematic and noisy, and that Blizzard has always tried to make our combat easy to read and very understandable, and sometimes it's just hard to track what 11 other players are doing on the battlefield. Tim, yesterday, me and Andy and Still Mike and Imran did a reaction, like a 2-hour-long live reaction to the Overwatch 2 gameplay stream that they did yesterday, revealing all the PvP stuff, along with the 5v5. They also revealed a couple more maps. They talked more about the push mode. We got to see a lot more of what the gameplay changes were. Right now, joining us, we have twitch.tv/Andy Cortez, because again, he was there to react live, and I know he has a lot to say. But before we even get to Andy, I'll just say that I think this is a great change. I think this is a really good thing for Overwatch. They mentioned, right, trying to make it more a little bit more focused and a little bit less chaotic and more manageable, and them switching it down to 5v5 I think does a lot for that. But without further ado, Andy Cortez, when you're muted, I don't know if you realize that, but if you can unmute yourself and let us know what you think.
What's up, gamers? Yeah, dude, big news. Pretty exciting stuff. I totally agree with you, Bless. I think it does become a less chaotic product. I do think that it does a lot of stuff for me. It makes the tank role more appealing. Across the board, tanks have been the least popular role to select. It's always everybody wants to play a damage character, and then next is support, and then tanks are the third option there. And so that's why whenever you try to hop online, Blizzard will try to entice you to play tank and say, hey, you get a free loot box right now to play tank, because that's how little anybody wants to play tank. So not only reducing that role to 1 tank is, I think, a super smart decision, but that's also going to really decrease a lot of queue times. You know, people wait sometimes fairly long to get into games because nobody wants to pick tank and everybody's queued up for damage. And so that'll definitely lower the queue times there, since there's 1 less role to actually fill a spot for. But beyond that, the tank role also just becomes a little bit more formidable. It becomes a little bit more fun to play, I would say, because they are going to make these tanks have more abilities, and, you know, maybe not even adding abilities, but just multiplying their abilities. So we all know, we saw in that demo, Reinhardt has this move called Fire Strike, where he swings the hammer, shoots sort of a wave of damage towards an enemy. And now Reinhardt could do that 2 times in a row now without a cooldown.
Yep. Zarya has 2 charges on her orb.
Zarya,
and it seems like they're doing a lot for
Zarya can bubble
buffing the
herself
tanks.
twice. Yeah, they're essentially making these Winston now, who's the big gorilla who just sort of flies all over the map, instead of just being more of a zoning type character to jump on the back line and then peel out whenever you need to get healed. Winston now has, at first Winston only had this sort of electrical charge thing that would be really, really close range. And when that sort of runs out of ammo, you back out and you piece the hell out because you don't want to get killed and, you know, sort of destroyed or whatever. But now Winston has this sort of charge beam shot to go along with that, to just make these characters a little bit more fun. And I think it's fucking great. And it's also going to make Overwatch League more interesting, because not only will it, you know, reduce that visual clutter like they were mentioning, but I mean, there's going to be a lot of tank players without jobs now, which is
well, I mean, there's
bummer.
literally, I should pull up the IGN article, because there is an IGN article that went up right before we even started recording that was about how there are Overwatch players that are fearing for their jobs after the PvP updates. I have it right here. It's from Joe Screbbles. It goes like this. Blizzard yesterday announced that Overwatch will see its PvP mode reduced from 6v6 to 5v5 when Overwatch 2 is released, and it's a move that's left many professional players of the game worried about their future in the esport and dismayed about the way it was announced. In a 2-hour live stream, the Overwatch team announced the change, which will see one tank class role removed from PvP games. At the same time, the tank role as a whole is being adapted for Overwatch 2, with many characters seemingly due to receive major changes to their playstyle. Following the announcement, multiple tank players in the official Overwatch League signaled their dismay, not just at having to relearn their chosen characters for the highest levels of play, but also at the potential of being dropped from their rosters. Many also pointed out that they weren't consulted by Blizzard ahead of the changes being made or announced, which is a thing that, as they were making this announcement, I didn't think about too heavily. I think I think you might have brought it up, and I thought about it in a passive way of like, oh shit, yeah, this is gonna really shake up competitive Overwatch, but I didn't think about the way that people's lives are literally going to be changed by a small game update, which one is a signal for how far video games have come, right, and how big video game culture is. I wouldn't think about it in that aspect, but two is a real thing, right, and is a real fear for these players. And Andy, like for you, in the way that they announced it, do you think that they should have handled that more carefully, given that it is such a big deal, not just to their community, but to the professional community?
I mean, I don't know if there's any right way to do it. It's similar to when we hear about game developers learning that they were fired or laid off through a tweet, through some industry insider, leaking info that everybody's getting laid off. So I think the right thing to do would maybe have been to let them know beforehand, but then that info leaks and then the community gets mad anyways. I don't know if there's a right way to do it.
How do you let the entire Overwatch pro community know this without it being a wide announcement to everybody? Because
I'm sure
that's info that's going to leak.
I'm sure you just do it, but also, Blizzard wants to sort of make this a bigger announcement, right? Now, that's not going to... Now, granted, whenever we talk about pro Overwatch or even just Overwatch play, there's always a main tank and an off tank. And the main tank is always going to be, like a Reinhardt with the big shield to protect. And the off tank will be more of an offensive sort of tank to sort of, complement the rest of the team. And now the teams will still need that, right? Like it's not like everybody's going to lose their job. Like their teams will still carry, on this map, we like to go this. And this player can play these characters, but that player can play those characters. But we don't need that until this next map or whatever. So like the strategy there is, I think still works out, but there definitely will be people, getting laid off and not having a spot unless they really fight for it. But
that's half of all tanks right there, right? Like if you main a tank for a professional team, like 50% of y'all are getting laid off pretty much.
Yeah, for the most part, if you're a tank player, you are an off tank player like the Divas or Roadhog or Zarya, or you're a main tank like a Winston or a Reinhardt. But one thing that it does fix, I think, is that one thing that we saw happening a lot in Overwatch is damage players don't want to wait for their long queue times because it takes forever to queue into a damage game. So they just play an off tank anyway. And it may be a character that they don't give a shit about, but hey, I can click ahead and feel good about it. And it feels more of an offensive type role. And this will definitely mitigate a lot of those issues where you have somebody joining into a game who's like, yeah, I'm a damage player, but I'm here to play tank because, I don't want to wait to play damage. So I'll just play whatever role kind of feels more like the players or more like the heroes that I'm used to, which kind of like sucks because it's like, well, I mean, you clearly don't even want to be playing this hero that you're sort of queuing up to play. You just didn't want to wait for damage. And so I think this is going to help a lot with those issues.
What did the stream yesterday do for your hype levels? Are you more excited for... Or can we get a nip check? Are you more excited for Overwatch 2 after yesterday's stream? Or are you still in the same place? Or like where are you at?
1,000%. I mean, I've been excited for it. We saw a couple comments in there saying like, damn, this is a lot of dev time just for this. But I mean, you got to keep in mind they have to diversify, and a lot of that diversification went towards single player, which was that other big stream that we had where their single player basically looks like Left 4 Dead, and it is tons of different story maps and things of that nature. But I mean, I'm stoked as hell. They're getting rid of 2-point capture, which is widely known as the least favorite mode for people to play in Overwatch. That new push mode is basically sort of a different version of King of the Hill, which is really neat. And all the new maps look awesome. I'm just really excited to actually hopefully play some sort of closed beta in the next, maybe at the end of the year or something like that, because it's just, I know the capability of Blizzard and how beautiful they can make this game, and it just looks, kind of doo-doo when you're looking at it on a compressed
on a
YouTube stream. Like, it's hard to really get the full visuals there with all the looks and, all the changes to the UI and just making things a little bit easier to read and understand. So I can't wait to finally see some sort of beta program. Hopefully by the end of the year, if not, I'm guessing the beginning of next year.
Mhm. Tim, where are you at with Overwatch 2? Is this something that you're going to jump in when it comes out? And I forget, did you play Overwatch 1 at all?
Yeah, I played as much as I play first-person shooters, but compared to that, I played Overwatch a lot actually. But I'm really excited about the story-based stuff. Like, that's really, really where my love for Overwatch lies, is in the characters, and I love the shorts that they put out. And I've always kind of wanted more of a campaign out of Overwatch, and Overwatch 2 doesn't seem like it's quite doing that in a full way, but the different like one-off story stuff sounds really, really cool to me, and I'm definitely excited for that.
Does it being somewhat of a Left 4 Dead meets, let's say, like games of service-y type thing, like where it is customize your characters, customize your abilities, customize all that stuff, and go into these organized missions with friends? Does that speak to you? Does that make you more excited for it?
No, it doesn't. But I will do it. You know what I mean? Like that's one of those things where there's the Overwatch. It has the gameplay. I love the style of game that it is, and I think that it's a fantastic game. And just kind of getting more single player stuff, more PvE stuff. I'm really excited for that side of it. But the PvP doesn't matter to me. 5v5, 6v6. Like, if Andy's happy, I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? It is crazy to think about the ripple effects of people losing jobs and all that, and like how these decisions really have huge impacts. And that is something that Activision has to make decisions about, because they are the ones that run the Overwatch League, right? Like, it's not like the esports side of it is just an aspect that other people handle. Like, they have ownership of that. So
and we just saw that recently on Call of Duty Pro League, where Call of Duty dropped from 5v5 to 4v4. Like, this just happened with another Activision type product, and a lot of people lost jobs there too. And so yeah, it's kind of weird to see how, I guess, heavily influenced the esports community can have over a product. Because when I was doing these or not, when I was doing all these Overwatch League sort of watch-alongs on stream or whatever, Winston is kind of the meta right now. And there's also a newer hero called Echo, which can clone an enemy hero on the enemy team. And a lot of the times, Winston, who, is very, very fast moving, it's not like a precise player kind of just like getting headshots. When Winston ults, it is visual overload. This dude is flying all over the place, slapping people against the walls, like zoning people, knocking people out. And then the Echo would clone the Winston and then get the Winston ult in a different form.
It's like Ice Climbers.
And like, it's already a hard game to watch. There's several people that would be in chat being like, I don't know, like, this is kind of tough to follow.
Like, what's going on right now? And
when Winston is the meta and there's just so much visual overload with the just crazy particle effects everywhere, it becomes even more difficult to follow. So I do think a lot of that, a lot of Overwatch League has lent to, the idea that, man, this game does need to be a little bit easier to follow on the eyes and not just be like what the fuck. First off, this YouTube compressed stream can't even show what's happening because there's so many fucking colors and it's just all artifacty all over the place, which is why they'll often cut to the flyover camera, which just sort of shows the battlefield from like a third person kind of floating cam as opposed to the first person view. So it is wild to see how, because I truly think the league has kind of influenced a lot of these changes as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, but I do think an important thing to point out is, like, this is Overwatch 2. It's not like they're just changing Overwatch 1 and its team structure. Like, it is a brand new experience that they're trying to create. To, like, these decisions aren't just being made randomly. Like, they're doing this on purpose because this is the way they see the future of Overwatch, and hopefully making more jobs for more teams to play in 5v5. because like clearly they're trying to make this a viable product, both from a gameplay perspective and from a audience perspective of people watching as an esport.
Before we move on, Andy, do you have any final words on Overwatch 2?
No, I'm good, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us, Andy.
Have a good day.
Of course.
Goodbye.
You can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames where you can get the show ad free. But if you're watching this segment right here, right now, that means you didn't. And so you're about to get some ads. So let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Caviar. Loving good food doesn't necessarily mean you're able to cook well. If you want a good meal but need a little help, let the restaurant come to you. Caviar can help. I do it all the time. Let's be honest. I can't cook at all, and that's fine because I have Caviar to help me. Any food that I'm looking for, they will come deliver it right to my door. It's easy. It's great. Next thing you know, I'm eating some good food. Caviar is the food delivery app for people that are into good food. They bring the best local restaurants directly to your doorstep. Other apps may have the national chains, but Caviar keeps it local. Those hidden gems in your neighborhood, they're on Caviar. And I know this well. All the local taquerias that I love so much are now at my fingertips, and they come right to my door, and it's fantastic. If you're not sure what you want to eat, you can let Caviar's staff picks recommend the best spots in your neighborhood to find your new favorite. Caviar curates local options for every taste, whether it's the perfect Reuben from the sandwich shop or the best Indian vegan curry. You always have options for whatever you want, and options are always good, my friends. Just for you guys out there, Caviar is offering $10 off an order of $20 or more. All you have to do is put in the offer code Kinda Funny at checkout. Remember, that's $10 off a purchase of $20 or more with the offer code Kinda Funny. Download the Caviar app and use offer code Kinda Funny. Kinda Funny. And next up, shout out to Credit Karma. Okay, Credit Karma has always been there to help you make better financial decisions, and now they want to help even more. With a Credit Karma money spend account, you can be rewarded for good money habits. And who doesn't want instant gratification like that? Credit Karma Money is a brand new checking account where you can win cash reimbursements for making purchases. When you use your Credit Karma Money debit card, you can win daily instant Karma purchase reimbursements on items up to $5,000. You just pay with your debit card, and if you win, you'll be notified on the spot, and your instant Karma cash will be added back to your spend account. Credit Karma Money has already given away over $3 million in instant Karma to over 50,000 Credit Karma members and counting. That's awesome. Right now, you can visit creditkarma.com/winmoney to open your free account and start winning instant Karma. Go to creditkarma.com/winmoney to sign up for free and start winning instant Karma. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney. Who doesn't want to win money? Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules. Banking services provided by MVP Bank Inc. Member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply. One more time. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney.
Tim, we got 3 more news stories, and I've titled them "Let's Watch Some Game Trailers." We had a few game trailers drop, this morning and yesterday afternoon. Let's start off with story number 3. Mass Effect's Normandy is now available in No Man's Sky. I'm pulling from Joe Scrabble at IGN, and Barrett. All these trailers you can just play as I read through the stories.
No, I refuse.
A mysterious.
I refuse.
Oh, well, damn. A mysterious expedition within No Man's Sky has led to a very unexpected discovery. Mass Effect's iconic ship, the Normandy SR-1, is now inside the game. As part of the new expeditions feature, players have been taking part in a new timed event, the Beachhead Expedition. That expedition is taking players across multiple planets, solving puzzles, and eventually receiving a mission called Anomalous Research, which calls for players to track a pattern in time, a strange signal emerging across multiple realities. It turns out that signal has been coming from the Normandy. By completing the expedition's 5 stages, players will earn the ship as an S-class S-class freighter. Sadly, it's not a directly pilotable ship, but it's likely to become the jewel of many players' fleets. The expedition is only available to complete until May 31st, so if you want to add the Normandy to your game, make sure to jump in soon. And yeah, like it looks super cool. Like this is such a cool thing. It's always awesome to check back into No Man's Sky and see that they're doing bigger and greater things by the month, it seems like.
Yeah. Dude, it's really cool, man. No Man's Sky is such a turnaround story, and like having these type of collabs, super cool. Especially it being like a fun like Easter eggy type thing. Like those moments are what make those type of games special.
Yeah, and them timing it with the release of Mass Effect Legendary Edition is also such a really cool thing. Like now I beat Mass Effect 1, everybody. I finished the game, and now that I'm familiar with the world, I know what the Normandy is. I look at this and I'm like, damn, like how exciting is that? Especially when you think of it in the instance of Mass Effect being this, big release in 2007. Being this game where you can explore planets, explore space, do all that fun stuff, and No Man's Sky essentially being this game that came out a decade later, and it being kind of the future version of that. Of course, it took a minute to get there, but now that it's there, right? Like No Man's Sky is the game now that you look to as the game where you're exploring planets, going around,
hang out in space,
out in the space, and in a way, it's Mass Effect's baby, in some essence. And so it's super awesome to kind of see
Daddy.
that. Space Daddy, yeah, exactly.
Bless, how long did it take you to beat Mass Effect 1?
I want to say my game clock was at like 17, 18 hours. Okay. I mainlined it for the most part, though. I didn't do many
like
of the side quests.
6 hours in. I started doing some side quests the other night, so. But yeah, I also I restarted Psychonauts 1 because I'm expecting 2 to come out soon. So now I gotta figure out the balance between these two games.
It took way quicker than I expected to beat Mass Effect 1, and the time flew by. I was surprised by how quick it felt. Like I beat that game, and I was playing with the idea that like I want to get to Mass Effect 2 and 3 because I know the gameplay shines way better in those games. And so like if I can get Mass Effect 1 over with and get into 2 and 3, that's where I'm gonna really
I want to at least get to
stuff.
2 and like get into a chunk of 2 before like I decide to drop off of it. So yeah, I still want to push through.
Yeah.
Barrett, I sent assets a video that I would like to watch because now we're in this trailer watching time. It's not a trailer, but it is a Mass Effect thing that we made at IGN a long time ago, and I haven't seen it in a long time, so we'll see.
While Barrett's pulling this up, Tim, are you going to play Legendary Edition? I feel like I've asked this before, but
definitely. Not definitely. I'm going to give it a shot. I've never really gotten into Mass Effect. I beat the first game a long time ago when it came out, or when it came out on PlayStation eventually.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about it where I was just like, I'm not super grabbed by this type of game, but that's a me problem. Yeah, let's check this out.
I'm Naomi Kyle, host of Cheap Cool Crazy, the best show on Start. On our show, we point you to some of the most awesome and obscure items on the web, and then we give them away as prizes to our viewers. This, though, I'm keeping for myself.
Oh my god.
And the best part is,
she has the biotic arm.
All the bells and whistles.
That's dope as fuck.
Yo!
That's dope as fuck right there. That's awesome.
Well, that's my ride.
For audio listeners, it's a Normandy. Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Miller.
Bravo. Bravo.
That was so extra. I don't know why we did that. Because we had our VFX guy, Mike Horn, who was so fucking talented. And he was just like, I have this idea, man. Like, what if we just put it in the sky? And we're like, yeah, dude, let's fucking do it.
Damn. For audio listeners, right, it was Naomi Kyle. She had the biotic arm, and she's like saying some shit. Greg Miller, or the Normandy comes into the sky behind her. Greg Miller comes out of nowhere and bombs the Normandy. That was fantastic. That was great. That was awesome.
Why did he do that though?
I don't know why he did that. I don't even know if that's canon. I'm not far enough in the game.
There's one more.
No, I'm pretty sure that it's in between 3 and 4. I'm pretty sure that's canon.
In between 3 and 4, Greg Miller bombs the Normandy.
One more thing that I want to show you guys actually to keep in this dumb IGN Mass Effect stuff that we've done.
Yeah.
This is the April Fool's video that Bless. Now you have a little more context because you've played the game, but you're gonna love this. Couple familiar voices. Keep your ears tuned.
Electronic Arts Television. That's great.
The Reapers are destroying my planet!
Alliance News Network viewers expect us to do something.
Oh, we'll do something. Joker!
Yes, Commander.
Tell the Council we're forming a committee to come to a consensus about aliens.
Aye, aye, Commander.
But Earth Clan, we're gonna be late for the Battle of the Bands!
Not accurate. According to my calculations, we can defeat the Reapers with rock and roll, beat Cerberus in the Battle of the Bands, kill all Reapers simultaneously. Efficient.
I like that babble talk. Mass Effect, tune up!
Now I know why they call them biotic amps.
Hair for a slap, bless.
1, 2, 3, 4. East, Commander Shepard. Space crime fighting and rocking the galaxy. Garrus, Troll, Rex,
Keyboard.
Tally.
That's Damon
Hatfield.
Watch out, here come the Reapers. Mass Effect.
And Nick Scarpino.
Yeah, he was doing the backup vocals. Yeah.
Nick's the one doing the backup vocals.
That's really funny.
Anyway, there you go.
God bless them, man. Written by Mike Trucker. That's
Yeah, of
awesome.
course.
That's fantastic. Shout out to IGN and
what
the
a
April
shame.
Fool's gags. IGN doesn't fail to impress with the April Fool's gag. I was honored when I got the email for the last one, which was the Zoom Battle Royale one. I got that email and I was like, hell yeah.
Hell
Another
yeah,
thing
I'm
I
part
can
of
check off.
history.
Yeah, I can check off my my list of things I need to do before I leave this mortal plane. All right.
good.
Let's move over to story number 4. We got more trailers for you. Devolver Digital's Phantom Abyss is a game that they revealed yesterday. It looks like Fall Guys meets Indiana Jones. I'm gonna read a quick write up from Sean Prescott at PC Gamer. Yeah, Tim. Oh, and you know what? Throw in Legends of the Hidden Temple in there too. It looks like that also.
Very cool.
Phantom Abyss is a first-person roguelike about exploring randomized temples laden with traps and bottomless chasms. The whip-wielding protagonist is fast and agile, but not particularly violent. Their job is to retrieve sacred relics, and as far as I can tell, there's no combat in Phantom Abyss. The whip can be used as a kind of grappling hook, or else to trigger switches, but you won't be slaying bats with it. Tonally, it sits somewhere between Splunky and Indiana Jones, with a touch of Fall Guys and its obstacle course style progression. In a nice touch, during each run, you'll be accompanied by the ghosts of up to 20 other players, who you can either ignore or follow. Doing the latter might help you avoid a hidden trap or lead you to an upgrade you might otherwise have missed. It works kind of. What's up?
Sorry, I just got scared from a trap.
Oh, some shit happened in the video. It works kind of like the ghosts in Dark Souls games, only you'll be able to chase Phantom Abyss's ghosts from the beginning of the run all the way to their death. As you'd expect, the deeper into the temple, the better the rewards. There are different unlockable whips to obtain, as well as some neat sounding traversal skills. You can unlock double jump, an Apex Legends style extended slide, and a glide jump, among other things. Phantom Abyss is in development at Brisbane-based studio Team Wibby and published by Devolver Digital. It hits early access next month sometime, where it'll stay for at least a year while the game gets new rooms, traps, whips, and zones, as well as other features. And let me tell you, this game looks dope.
This looks incredible. I am very, very excited to play this. I am also very excited for the Bethesda Indiana Jones game because like this looks super, super rad, man. And I want to see the Fall Guys template applied to other things, to way more other things, because there's something there, something incredible. And this seems like a really cool use of that. Like the Legends of the Hidden Temple vibe, very, very, very cool.
Yeah. That's the thing I love so much about video games is that you see a great idea come through and you see multiple other iterations of that great idea come through that are inspired and fresh. And so, yeah, the idea of marrying Indiana Jones and Legends of the Hidden Temple with Fall Guys, I think is such a genius idea. And them doing it with the ghosts. So it is this thing of like, all right, I'm going to keep an eye on this person. All right, cool. They got murdered by that thing. I know not to go that way, but this guy's going around a crevice. I wonder if that's going to take me to a thing. I think that's such a cool idea. And there's so much potential there. And so I'm looking forward to that early access. I want to give that one a try.
I guarantee that Snowbike Mike and the crew will be playing that on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames.
Hell yeah. Then our last one, story number 5, Hot Wheels Unleashed revealed their new college campus environment. This comes from a press release that they emailed out this morning. And if you're wondering, what is Hot Wheels Unleashed? This was one that Tim brought up to us on a Gamescast recently. That's a new Hot Wheels game that looks surprisingly good. Where I think we're all pretty excited about this Hot Wheels game.
Yeah.
The press release goes like this: reminiscent of a typical
There's a garbage
American...
truck.
Is it on fire?
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. Reminiscent of a typical American university, the college campus features a complex environment that has 3 main areas: the library, the classroom, and the chemistry lab. Players are able to build courses that twist and turn from room to room, using the main hallway as a connector, though the more daring students may notice that the school's ventilation systems achieves the same purpose. And yeah, looking at it, this game continues to look surprisingly good.
This is one that we also got. We got to do a bunch of fucking streams on.
Oh yeah. I really hope this is fantastic.
Same.
I hope that this is like a standout.
Oh yeah, same. Because it looks good, and the idea that you can build your own courses based off the environments are really dope. Also, right? Like that really carries the idea of Hot Wheels being able to put together these different things and be creative with it.
I need another fun new car racer that isn't Mario Kart 8. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Mm-hmm. Have we not gotten? Well, we got what about that Crash Team Racing?
No, I've
you
never
didn't play that?
Not a Crash Team Racing.
No.
So good.
Yeah.
What about us Team Sonic Racing? Did you play Team Sonic
Absolutely
Racing?
Not that
not.
good.
Absolutely
Not
not.
that good.
We talked about that
It was a
Nickelodeon
pretty fun
racer
time.
last year.
Transform's good.
Mm-hmm.
Sonic All Stars Racing Transformed was a good one, but
Yeah.
I didn't like Team
That
Sonic
was forever
Racing.
ago.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: you can't talk about like I need another kart race to play after Mario Kart 8 if you're not trying any of the ones that came out since. You know what I mean?
It's not
Jump
that I'm
into these
trying.
games.
They're just not good.
Play some
Blessing.
dreams. Play some dreams kart
Oh,
racers.
they're so good. You can't say CTR is not good. You might not like it.
Yeah,
It is.
I can't
at
say
the
it's not
very
good.
good.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Nickelodeon kart racer, not great.
I like
Not
Team Sonic
great.
too.
We
Crash
can
Team
definitively
Racing.
say that. Not great.
Not great.
Team Sonic Racing, I think makes for a fun afternoon and a half. That was a fun game when I played it. But Tim, I'm very excited for this.
Hold on.
What up?
Sorry. The episode I think that we talked about that Nickelodeon. You know what? That's totally off. Doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is that we played that Crazy Taxi clone recently.
Right.
Right. So that kind of got me down to Crazy Taxi kick. That we had that story last week about Sega.
The super game?
The super game and potentially revitalizing like old franchises or whatever. And they mentioned Crazy Taxi. I was looking into it. I was like, oh, there's a mobile version of Crazy Taxi. So I downloaded it. It's free. And guess what? It has the original soundtrack.
Oh,
It's the
that's
original
really cool.
fucking game with the Offspring. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
There's a free,
yeah.
Yeah, there's a free version of fucking Crazy Taxi that's just the original game. What? It's
That's
available
awesome.
now. Yeah. Crazy.
That's good to know. I might give that a download. That's crazy. Tim, you know what else is crazy?
What?
The fact that the Hot Wheels Unleashed game is so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and grop shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform is listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, we got Miitopia for the Switch. What's the other one? Miitomo? Was it Miitomo? Tomodachi Life? Tomodachi Life. That's what I'm thinking of. Release Tomodachi Life. I want to try that one out.
It's
Nintendo.
Miitopia is out with that new blue Switch Lite as well.
Oh, that sounds cool. We got Cosmic Top Secret coming out for the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch today. Guards is out for Switch. Wanna Survive for Switch. Gut Whale for Switch. Knockout City for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, which I think we'll be playing right after this at the start of our kindoffunny.com/Palestine stream.
And with that, real quick, let's get an update. We are officially at 26,136. Y'all killing
did
the
it.
game. But can we get to 27,000 in the next 10 minutes?
Let's do it.
kindoffunny.com/Palestine.
Let's do it. Driving World Aspen is out today on Switch. Guards is out on Xbox One, and then Rust is out today on PS4 and Xbox One. I feel like that was a long time coming, Rust on the PS4 and Xbox One. So there you go. We got one new date for you. Pekka Minosa hits the Nintendo Switch and Steam on May 27th. And then deal of the day for you. This week's free Epic Game Store title is NBA 2K21. Tim, folks can go over to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames where they can get the show ad free, but they can also write in with their questions, just like Jordan Lee Rowan did. Jordan Lee Rowan wrote in to say this: will this online E3 be a one-off thing or an evolution of the event? Once the world feels safer, will E3 just go back to an in-person event the way it used to be, or is this online element here to stay? Tim Gettys, what do you think?
Let me introduce you to a word you're going to hear a lot over the next couple of years. That word is
Biome.
Well, biome for fucking sure. We're going to hear a lot. But hybrid. Hybrid is the word I was looking for. We're going to start seeing a lot of hybrid implementations for live events. And I think that E3 this year, I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed, that E3 is going to be super baller this year and awesome. If it is, even if it's not, they can take the learnings and apply it to next year and, trying to hopefully every year iterate and make it better and better. We're going to go back to in-person events. E3 will be an in-person event next year. I am almost positive. But I do think that the online digital side of it is only going to keep growing. And I think that's true across the board for everything. Like, I think especially every element of the video game industry, I think, is going to have some type of hybrid model. And I imagine that E3 will be probably the biggest example of it, where if this digital stuff works really well, I can see it being the majority of what matters about E3, with the in-person thing really kind of being more just for hands-on experiences with games and previews and so forth.
Yeah, I think there's been so much growth over the last year with companies and how they handle their events and their presentations and revealing their games. The constraints of quarantine, I think, has done so much in terms of companies adapting and figuring out digital events and figuring out the branding for it. Ubisoft Forward is a thing that exists now because of quarantine, and when things start to work their way back to normalcy, I don't think that goes away. I think Ubisoft Forward is a thing that's here to stay. I think other similar digital events are things that are here to stay, and I think that'll feed back into the thing of, all right, what does that mean for E3? You know, like if Ubisoft doesn't want to hold a physical event at E3 because that costs so much money and is so much work, and they can probably do the same thing digitally and have just as big of an impact, that brings up the question of why do it? And you are going to see, I think, after this E3, right, based on the success of it and how well it ends up doing, you're gonna see companies make decisions as far as, all right, cool, we're gonna do a digital event, but we'll just connect it to E3 in terms of brand, and maybe we'll do demos at a physical E3, but in terms of our big presentation, we're gonna separate that a little bit more. Or hey, like doing demos, via Parsec or via Discord has worked so well for us over the last year. Why stop doing that? When flying people out or throwing these big events costs us so much money. If we can have the same impact while doing it this way that we've been doing, why change it? I think you're going to see people ask that same question. But with how E3 has been operating over the last few months in terms of announcing the partnerships, announcing what it looks like, it seems like they're making a lot of the right moves, which I was very worried about toward the beginning of the year. Closer and closer we get to E3, the more and more confident that I personally am in E3. And I think that might speak to the sense of them. That might speak to the sense of importance that E3 has in the industry in terms of centralizing all of this stuff. Yeah, and again, if that works, I don't think you're going to see E3 go away. I think you'll still see. I think Tim is correct in terms of it being a hybrid, and you'll see people still connect themselves to E3 in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, totally. I'm still shocked that we don't have dates for the conference. We don't know what E3 looks like from a schedule perspective, and we are weeks away. It's really weird. We don't need to know because it is digital, and it's just that once they give us the answers, it's like, okay, cool, we're all going to be there. Like we have the week booked, you know what I mean? But it's just like, we're interested in the timing of these things. We want to know what it's actually going to look like. But in terms of the hybrid stuff, like, I saw a Reddit thread on our Reddit maybe a week ago, talking about when we go back to the studio or to the new studio, are we still going to have call-in guests and stuff like that? Because back when we were at the old studio, we didn't do it. If you had to be in the room at the table with us to do the show.
It wasn't wired and set up in an efficient way for that.
Like the most you would have is Greg calling somebody on his phone and talking to him for a minute.
But even more than that, it was a thing where it's like we made the decision content-wise, where it's like we wanted the energy, we wanted people in the room, we didn't want to deal with all the tech problems and stuff. But we've now had a year of ironing out all the tech problems. Well, for the most part, it'll never be perfect. But the thing is, we all have these home setups, and it's not just kind of funny. So many people in the industry have some mic setup, some camera setup that they didn't have before, and I think that that's not going to change. So I imagine that that's just an example of like the games media side. Like when we do go back to the studio, it will be some type of hybrid thing where we can still have call-in stuff because the tech is there, the setups are there for people to be able to, Paris will be able to be on XCast still or whatever. And if that is true for us, that's definitely true for the industry as a whole and for things like E3 and PAX and whatever, where it's like, it just gives people more options to do different types of stuff. Like the conventions, like RTX, for example, they've really found success with making a digital convention. Yeah. I don't think that's going to go away. I just think it will be in addition to a real in-life. Like
you look at what Jeff Keighley did with Opening Night Live and how good of a setup that was. And I can't imagine that they're like, cool, we did this once. Now let's throw this all away and go back totally to how things used to be, right? Like, I think you continue to make use of those things that you set up and figure out ways to make it easy for everybody. Now that now that's what you said, right? Like we have a way to make these things happen. Whereas before, like we didn't really want to go through that struggle of trying to establish the stuff. But now we've been forced to, and so hey, we have it. Like let's use it.
Totally.
So there you go. Tim, every now and then on Kind of Funny Games Daily, we have what we called required reading. And for today, we have it once more. I'm going to shout out an article from gamesindustry.biz from Marie D'Alessandri titled, Ubisoft has reportedly made minimal changes following abuse allegations. I encourage folks to go over and check out gamesindustry.biz, check out that article. Over the last year, especially during last summer, we talked a lot about a lot of the allegations that were coming out of many places in the industry, but specifically Ubisoft. There was sort of a focus there for a second, and it's been one of those things where it's hard to check in, right? Because companies are so private, it's hard to like really follow up on things like this. But Marie D'Alessandri has a good article here following up essentially on what that looks like. I'm going to read part of the article, and if you want to get the full thing, because it's a longer piece, you can go check that out again on gamesindustry.biz. The article starts off like this. Ubisoft is not out of the woods yet, following the numerous allegations of harassment and sexual misconduct at the company that emerged last year. An investigation by French publication Le Telegram, published in early May, revealed that a first wave of legal proceedings was due to start this month in relation to the harassment cases. The collective action is led by Solidaires Informatique Jeux Vidéo, a games worker union that had previously called for testimonies to build a case against Ubisoft. Since the wave of accusations targeting Ubisoft's toxic culture, which also pointed at serious dysfunction in its HR departments, the company has attempted to make changes, but the impact of these changes seems to have been minimal so far, the publication reported. Again, Marie's article goes more in depth in terms of breaking that down, what that looks like, who's still there, who's not there, like all the stuff that you need to know regarding that. But if you want to stay informed, boom, there you go. Go check out that article. Tim, folks can go over to kindafunny.com/you're wrong, where they can write in and let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can set the record straight for those watching and listening later on YouTube and on podcast services around the globe. Next Level Nick wrote in and says, the canceled Amazon game Blessing was thinking of is Crucible. You're absolutely correct. Thank you so much for that. Polish Ryan wrote in and says, not a you're wrong, but can we take a moment to tip our hats to Barrett for the work he has done this week? Hard work behind the scenes, giving the viewers/listeners the entertainment. Well done, Barrett. And I echo that. Barrett has done a fantastic
100%.
job while Kevin has been out of town. So thank you, Barrett.
Thank
Good
you
work.
guys for the appreciation. Like I've been saying, I don't know how Kevin does it every week. But
Yeah, he's
there you
a
go.
crazy man.
I'm a very tired boy. I'm gonna take a nap later.
Have
today.
a good weekend.
You've earned a nap. You've earned a nap. And then Neobiologist wrote in with a Mist out today. Scarlet Nexus demo is out on Xbox today. And so if you want to check that out, go check that out. Scarlet Nexus looks fun. That's one that I know Andy's been talking a lot about.
Oh yeah, it looks really cool. Arkwing, I want to read this one too. Tim said that Overwatch 2 will be a completely new experience. However, when Overwatch 2 was announced, Blizzard stated that the PvP will be cross-compatible with Overwatch 1. This should mean that Overwatch 1 will get the same 5v5 changes and hero updates. Very interesting. Very good point.
Oh yeah. That was when I assumed you knew. That's why I didn't bring it up, because like it's essentially Overwatch 2 is going to be Overwatch 2 as the sequel, but it's crossplay with Overwatch 1. Overwatch 1 will be getting a lot of the same updates. Overwatch 2, I believe the thing is that the single player specifically is going to be exclusive to Overwatch 2, along with probably some technical upgrades. The game will probably look better. There's still a lot more yet to be revealed in terms of what that looks like, but it is. They are connected in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Today's Friday, which means next week is a whole new week for Kinda Funny Games Daily. Next week's hosts go like this. On Monday, it's me and Tim. That's right. We're back at it like a bad habit. Tuesday, it's Greg and Gary Whitta. Wednesday, it's me and Tim again. Thursday, it's me and Tim again. Is this right? Are we really hosting
right.
that
it
many
is right.
days?
I mean, that might change, but for now, that is what it is. Tim.
And then Friday, holy shit. And then Friday, it's Greg and me. Oh, damn, you're getting me a lot next week. And so strap yourselves in. After this, we're streaming for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. Come hang out, have fun, and donate to a good cause. Remember, that is kindafunny.com/Palestine to learn more and donate. Of course, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday live right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. Today, we'll actually not have a post show because of the Palestine fundraiser that we're doing over on Twitch. We all got to transition to that so we can start timely. And so I hope you guys understand. They're on Patreon. And I think the other day we had a very long post show. And so I hope that makes up for it. But for now, we're going to go over to twitch.tv/kindafunnygames to make that happen. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.